I'll call to order regular governing board meeting. The pledge of allegiance will be led by Fernando Palacio, Student Council President. Which ones are yours? Which ones are mine? Which ones are yours? Yes, I ordered two.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Who are you, Harry? Sorry. Roll call.
Governing Board President, Ms. Maria Guzman.
Present.
Governing Board Clerk, Ms. Maria Hernandez.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Rudy Santa Cruz.
Here, present.
Governing Board Member, Ms. Patricia Jimenez.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Harry Gerwell.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is adoption of agenda, approval of April 11, 2024 regular governing board meeting agenda. Is there a motion? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote.
Cookie, you want some?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Motion carries. Next item is approval of minutes of March 28, 2024 regular governing board meeting with an executive session meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any questions, discussion? Call for the vote.
Oh, there it is.
Motion carries. Next item is governing board report. Ms. Hernandez.
Buenas tardes todos que están aquí. Mi nombre es María Hernández y gracias a President Ms. Guzmán. Para permitir a saludarles esta tarde. Ando un poquito abajo del tiempo, pero de todas maneras les quiero dar muchas gracias por estar aquí a apoyar a sus hijos este día en Pueblo del Sol. Estar aquí con sus hijos y sabiendo que todo lo que sabe de ellos es valoroso porque con el tiempo, luego los años pasan y cuando menos piensan ya pasaron y dicen, uy, se me olvidó de esos tiempos, pero es importante de siempre estar involucrados en la vida de ellos. I want to just wish everybody a good afternoon that's here, supporting their children to be here at Pueblo del Sol. And also, taking into consideration that time does fly by and later on we realize that our kids grown and they're gone or they're adults and we're like, oh, wow, how time has flown. And this is very important for you guys to continue being a part of their journey of learning and being a part of their learning experience. That's it, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Jimenez.
Thank you. Bienvenidos a todos. Gracias por tenernos aquí hoy, esta noche. Sé que es la última junta que tenemos en las escuelas y ojalá, ya ve, cada año estamos viniendo aquí y nos gusta hacer las juntas aquí y ver los estudiantes de lo que están haciendo. Welcome everybody. This is our good evening, our last meeting at the schools. And I always look forward of having our meetings at the schools. I just want to thank Pueblo for hosting us. Thank you. I look forward of seeing your presentation and your performance. So thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is me. I just want to welcome all the parents and staff that are here tonight. Also wanted to let you guys know of a couple of celebration that has been done throughout the district. April 1st through the 5th, we celebrated our assistant principals and teachers on special assignments. Thank you to all our leaders that support the support you provide to our students and staff. It's greatly appreciated. On April 3rd, it was Happy Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. We appreciate our amazing support staff here at Isaac School District because our paraprofessionals not only help our students within the classroom, but they go above and beyond. On April 4th, we were celebrating our librarians. We are thankful to our school's librarian who helps students get better at reading, spark their excitements about picking up books and developing the love for reading. So there was a lot of celebration done at the beginning of the month. And that's all for my report. Thank you. Mr. Santa Cruz?
Thank you. I just want to welcome everybody here. It's very nice to see the parents involved with their kids, and we appreciate that. That's the most important thing, that the parents be involved with every aspect of their kids in school. So I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Getwell?
Yes, Madam President, good afternoon. Buenas tardes a todos que están aquí. As you might know, I did attend the National School Boards Association annual conference in New Orleans. And just wanted to share with you a couple of the sessions, one session in particular, and then also the general sessions. The one session that I went to that was really, I think, very enlightening for me was one that had the private-public partnership model that we've been using, and the one that we use over at Esperanza in order for us to sell that property and build a multifamily housing there. In this particular case, they ended up getting enough money to build 5 middle schools and 1 PK8, so about $425 million through a P3. The thing that I found out that was really interesting was the fact that right now there are about 7 states in the United States now allow school districts to use P3, which in the past they had not. In Arizona, we can't use it in urban settings, but we can use it in the rural communities. So I'm going to start studying the legislature that came out of those 5 or 6 states to see, how they were able to word that. The other thing was Ruby Bridges. She was the first Black child to integrate in elementary schools in the South. Today, we're talking about, equity and diversity and all those things. And that really was her message. And her message was the importance of fostering empathy, understanding, and open dialogue within communities to address systemic changes and crafting lasting changes. And that's the role of a school board. So I thought she had a really good message, and I wanted to bring that back. The other one I went to was Dr. Tim Schreiber, and he was talking about the Dignity Index. Because of the type of environment we're in today, where we're always arguing, we're fighting, there's a division amongst everyone. He was talking about the fact that this powerful tool is a way for us to be able to sit down and really be able to identify how we can get together as a community in order for us to ease divisions, solve problems in our schools and our communities. So I thought that was a really good message. And he's got a book out, and I'm going to look to see if I can get a copy of that as well. And then finally, as I've been mentioning about our budget, and Ms. Jimenez mentioned that, this will be the last one in the schools because now we're going to start talking about budgets and what have you, and for the next year going forward. But there was an article that came out again today from Department of Education with Superintendent Horn talking about the fact that, not only are they holding back the 10% that they normally hold, but they also included a 3% on their cushion. And on top of that, they put in another 7%. So literally, they're holding 20% of the federal funding that's supposed to come to our school district. Think about that. 20% of our budget is being held back right now. And, it makes it really difficult for us to plan, to understand who we can bring in and hold on to, and programming that we also want to hold on to as well. And then just on a personal note, I want to acknowledge Mr. Arenas. He did a great job. He had a presentation there at the NSBA, and, he and the superintendent on Monday, had a good attendance, and they did a really good job with the profile. So congratulations on that, Mr. Arenas. That's the end of my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Next item is Superintendent Update. Dr. Ventura?
Madam President, members of the board and Isaac community. It's great to be here with you all at Pueblo del Sol. On March 28th, we had our annual Isaac Staff Health Fair. The event provided an opportunity for all Isaac staff to receive wellness resources, health screenings that promote their journey in enhancing their overall wellness. It's commendable to see the staff's dedication to nurturing a culture of well-being district-wide. A thank you to all the staff that participated, and I want to thank all of the different departments and committees that worked hard to put this together. Congratulations to Isaac Middle School. Middle School was recognized as one of 125 schools nationwide and the only individual school in Arizona to have been named in the 2024 Support Music Merit Award winner. This designation is awarded to schools that demonstrate outstanding achievement in the efforts of providing music access and education to all students. We're grateful to Mr. Sal Rodriguez and the IMS team for their contributions and the well-deserved recognition. And finally, April 2nd was World Autism Awareness Day. At Isaac, we pride ourselves in embracing differences, developing understanding, and celebrating the special talents of every individual. Today and every day, we stand together with the world for autism awareness. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next item is new business information and discussion. Action item. First one is Pueblo del Sol K-8 Elementary School highlight. Ms. Cohen, principal at Pueblo del Sol K-8 Elementary School. Ms. Cohen?
Good evening, Madam President, Governing Board members, Dr. Ventura, Isaac community. My name is Griselda Cohen, the proud principal of Pueblo del Sol K-8 Elementary. I'd like to begin by thanking our staff, students, and parents for their attendance and participation in today's meeting. Before we get started, I would like to thank our Pueblo Familia for your dedication to our students. We are so proud of our bee and committed to continued growth. At this time, I would like to invite parents to stand and be recognized. Please stand so we can celebrate you. Padres, por favor, pónganse de pie para celebrar su contribución. And a special thanks to our families and parents who helped decorate for tonight's event. They definitely see this as an event that brings great pride to our school. Muchas gracias a nuestros familiares que ayudaron a decorar para el evento de ahora. Yo sé que este logro es de ustedes también y están muy orgullosos de nuestros estudiantes. Muchas gracias. Up next, let's hear it for our staff. Pueblo teachers and staff, please stand. Lastly, we saved the biggest round of applause for our students. Students, please stand. And we do have some more students behind the scenes preparing for their performances. The theme of tonight's presentation is From Roots to Blossoms. El tema de esta noche es De Raíces a Flores. We will celebrate our community's journey and commitment to continuous growth and why Pueblo is home for so many of us. Before I continue, I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude for the privilege of serving as principal at Pueblo del Sol. My journey here began as a student teacher many years ago. My mentor teacher at the time was Ms. T. Zavala. I am fortunate enough that my educational career has prepared me to lead and serve at PDS, where I can support others in growing and establishing roots. Our work here at Pueblo is rooted in data. The data set before you illustrates the English language arts proficiency results as assessed by the AASA for grades 3 through 8. This data compares the percentage of students who are proficient at Pueblo, in our district, and within the state of Arizona. Grades 4, 5, 7, and 8 superseded the district average, with fourth grade closely approaching the state average. Although we are proud of the gains we are making, we will continue to improve to exceed the state averages for all grade levels. This is the tilling of the soil to get to our blossoms. This data slide illustrates the math proficiency data as assessed by the AASA for grades 3 through 8. Some current strategies we are implementing to support math proficiency at Pueblo include the integration of Be Glad strategies in all classrooms. These strategies include a variety of engagement styles that enable students to carry the cognitive load. Before we move on, I want to emphasize my gratitude for our 8th grade teachers at Pueblo, who guide our students in the culmination of their journey as an Isaac student. Thank you for your commitment to continuously preparing our students for high school and beyond. An additional data source is iReady, our district assessment for reading and math. In 2022-2023, Pueblo's school-wide proficiency in reading increased from 11 to 33%. In math, proficiency increased from 7 to 34%. We are excited to see what our proficiency levels will be at the end of this school year. At Pueblo del Sol, we harness the power of collaboration and a sense of familia. This is where the work takes place. The smiling faces you see here are a result of watering the soil and recognizing each other as blossoming humans, hardworking, competitive, passionate, and here for each other. I am excited to share how we work together to ensure success for all stakeholders. This year, the two most critical commitments made to school improvement were culture and climate and high-quality instruction. Our collective purpose was to create a school-wide community where all stakeholders feel they have a part and a role to play in school improvement. Over the summer, our instructional leadership team came together to determine the needs of our campus. Our commitment to high-quality instruction is supported by the leadership team, including teachers, academic coaches, and administrators. This work is then brought to life by our students who take ownership of their stretch goals and work towards making progress. And because at Pueblo we think beyond a typical year's growth, stretch goals are part of the growth mindset of our teachers, students, and families. We aim to stretch beyond the expectations of others. This year, we had the opportunity to begin building a site council committee, which greatly increased the involvement of parents and the community. The commitment of this council supported our efforts for improving school safety procedures. Members helped refine and promote the implementation of the plan that includes the morning drop-off and afternoon pickup procedures. Safety and efficiency have immensely improved. We thank them for their continued support and leadership. And our neighbors down the street definitely thank them too. Our Isaac Learning Club and 21st Century program currently have 373 students enrolled and 13 active classes. Some of our classes include Folklorico and the Pueblo News Network, which will be featured this evening. Our 21st Century clubs promote student innovation. Some of our students on campus will now like to take the time to present the board and Dr. Ventura with a 3D printed pen holder. This gift proudly promotes our students and district. And these pen holders were printed on campus by our 3D printers funded through 21st Century.
We have a little gift for each one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name?
Thank you. Congratulations. Awesome. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, you designed it. All right.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll put my pen in here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We hope you enjoy the gifts.
Thank you.
Families at Pueblo engage in a variety of experiences thanks to the efforts and partnership of our parent educator, Mr. Jose Munguia. Mr. Munguia hosts several academic and creative classes each month. Recently, parents participated in a simulated student testing session with practice testing materials. They also engage in projects such as creating piñatas from scratch. Beyond the classroom, during our fall festival, we provided families a glimpse of the academic commitment we have to our students. Teachers and students led engaging educational games. We also provided an opportunity for parents and guests to view and interact with the relevant content for each grade level. We were strategic to ensure that parents engaged in this learning opportunity by having them reflect on the information shared. This then qualified them to be entered to win a PDS goodie. Our commitment to academic engagement for families will continue growing. We look forward to our spring festival later this month. And just as you all support Pueblo this evening, we expect to see our students and families at many future events. Some ways we celebrate students at Pueblo include award assemblies and pep rallies. Students enjoy visits from special guests such as the Be Kind crew and Plory from iReady. Our pep rallies even allow for friendly competition with staff versus student sports games. And our teachers don't make it easy for our kids to win. As another celebration, students who earn tickets for following the 3Bs earn PBIS incentives. This year, our PBIS store, Pueblo del Store, is being run by our student council. It is beautiful to see our students support and celebrate each other. I want to take this moment to thank all of our staff members for their commitment to our school. I wish I had time to celebrate everyone tonight. This evening, we have the opportunity to celebrate a few members of our Pueblo familia. The individuals who will be awarded tonight have grown tremendously in their careers at Pueblo. They have grown roots here and sprouted many blossoms, enhancing our community. Before I begin, with our theme of Roots to Blossoms, I want to acknowledge the contribution of previous leadership in the journey of those being recognized this evening. Mr. Armando Chavez has contributed, and I will be sharing some of his words alongside my observations and those of our PDS familia. Ms. Marisela Valencia. In the words of Mr. Chavez, Ms. Valencia, you were instrumental in creating a welcoming environment for our youngest students. Here at Pueblo, Ms. Valencia has served 27 years in the Isaac School District. She herself was an English learner, which has motivated her to support students. She wants students to know that despite any obstacles, they are strong, resilient, and they can be anything they want to be. Ms. Valencia, please receive this award with love from our Pueblo family. Miss Yvette Scholler. In the words of Mr. Chavez, Ms. Scholler, how you teach young students to read and be prepared for middle school is an amazing gift you have given to hundreds of students throughout the years. And here at Pueblo, Ms. Scholler is always a dedicated educator, sharing her wealth of experiences with students, families, and colleagues. She works long days coordinating our before and after school program and always goes above and beyond for our campus. She believes in treating everyone equally from the custodian to the superintendent. This is what glues her to Pueblo. We are so grateful for Ms. Scholler and her radiant positivity. Please come receive your award, Ms. Scholler. Ms. Socorro Aguilar. Mr. Chavez would like you to know you were always thought of as a dedicated employee who would always finish the work on any given day. And here at Pueblo, Ms. Aguilar, I can't tell you how many students come up to me to tell me how proud they are of our clean, beautiful school. Ms. Socorro Aguilar is one of the hardest working individuals I know. She brightens each day with her smile and positive interactions with students and staff. Thank you for all you do, Ms. Aguilar. All right. In the words of Mr. Chavez, Miss Mata, wow, it was my great pleasure to have worked with you during those special years at PDS. You are an incredible lady who always knew what our school needed and when it was needed. And VNA Pueblo wants to recognize you for being an integral force in organizing, structuring, and helping the Pueblo culture thrive. Ms. Vianney Mata believes that treating others as you'd expect to be treated has been a guidepost to her longevity. We are beyond grateful for her impact on students, staff, and families. Thank you, Ms. Mata. At this time, I ask our board members to kindly take a seat in the front row to enjoy this evening's presentations. We will begin with the viewing of a production of PNN, the school-wide Pueblo News Network. We hope you enjoy. Board members, I invite you to return to your seats.
Almost there.
This concludes my presentation. At this time, I welcome any comments or any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there any question from the board?
Not a question, just a comment. You know, when we were looking at the data points, one of the things that I think I most appreciated when we were looking at some of the grades from, or the proficiency levels for eighth graders, I feel confident that they're ready to move on, you know, because they're very close to even the state standard,
Yes.
you know, and I think that's really important for us. And again, when we have our students leave our campuses here, then they have to go and compete in another environment. So I was very impressed by that. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Ms. Jimenez?
I just want to thank you again for hosting us. Thank you, the students. They were so cute. They're wonderful. And also all your teachers that were recognized. And I know it's a hard decision, but thank you again for having us here.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Ms. Hernandez?
Also, I want to thank you for the good work you've been doing here. It's just been flourishing. You can see it so much. And also acknowledging our dedicated staff, our Ms. Mada and our teacher that's been here for so long, and Ms. Socorro and all them taking the time to acknowledge you know, different departments and stuff is just shows of a union that you guys are here and that you guys continue to keep that good effort and acknowledgement up. Good, keep up the good work, all of you guys.
Thank you. We definitely will. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our parents and students, you are invited to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you would like to exit at this time, your students will be waiting for you in the hallway through the double doors. We really appreciate you coming out tonight. Muchas gracias a los papás que asistieron. Si gustan quedarse para lo que el resto de la junta, están bienvenidos. Y también si gustan ir a levantar a sus estudiantes a este tiempo, están esperando en el pasillo. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Like this, and I guess there's a book. Go ahead. Okay. Next item is approval for science overnight field trip to Phoenix Wilderness Adventure in Globe, Arizona on May 3rd, 4th, 2024 for eighth grade students. Dr. Lily Mesa Lemas, Assistant Superintendent. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
Dr. Lily Mesa?
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura, tonight for your request and approval, I have an overnight field trip for eighth graders, approximately 30 students across the 3 middle schools to attend an overnight with an ecological sampling field trip. This has been part of the learning journey this year that started in December for teachers, where they learn how to engage our students in the scientific experiences, followed by the learning that they have conducted so far, and ending up with this field trip that you have in front of you as our request so that they can experience firsthand what it means to go through the process that our ecological scientists go through in real life. The field trip is intended to happen in May, May 3rd through the 4th. Students will be chaperoned by our own students. The trip will be facilitated by the science specialist in the district, Dr. Alicia Weidman, and a number of teachers and coaches will be accompanying. The adults attend for free, and the transportation will be provided by our district. At this time, any questions I may entertain as you consider this request for approval?
Madam
Thank-
President,
Ms. Jimenez?
Dr. Lilly, what does, it says from hike site of PWA Ranch. Where is it exactly located? Like
Sorry.
if you look at the backup, talks about discovering and then it gives you, you know, everything that they're gonna be doing. But as you scroll down, I'm just curious to know what
What the field trip constitutes?
no, where is it located? Where are they going?
Oh, it's in Globe,
In
Arizona.
Arizona?
And it's a camping ground, and they will hike down in order to be able to pick up the water samples and hike back up to the camping site.
Well, all I want to say is, I was looking at the pictures of the backup and I just want to say, wow. As you know, I love to hike and I'm all about being in nature and I'm all about just being in the moment in the present. So I think this is wonderful that we're doing this. It's so wonderful for the kids to experience and to be out there and at an early age, because it's just amazing to see God's creations. And the reason that I'm asking, like I said, I'm a hiker and I'm like, where is this at? It's my next adventure. I can't believe we have all of this here. So it's always something new. So thank you.
Very exciting.
Thank you. Any other question from the board? Call for the vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is information on civic engagement and leadership in action. Dr. Lily Mesa Lema, Assistant Superintendent, Information Discussion. Dr. Lily?
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura, Isaac community, in front of you, I want to present an experience that we have been working to expand upon for our middle schoolers. And it's an expansion to our electives at the middle school level that allows us to take the civic standards that students learn as part of their social studies and expanding them so that they have real world experiences with what it means to be a citizen of this world. And one of our goals is really to engage our students in being an active citizen, because we know that we're living in an ever-changing, complex world, and we are prioritizing being able to provide these offerings for our students. We are engaging in this work in a multi-layered approach, where our students take social studies, of course, as part of their core content area. And our 8th graders complete their course with us by taking the civics test. The civics is one of the requirements for graduation at the high school level. And we have had this year 255 of our students who passed that test. and have already completed that requirement for high school. But we wanted to take the next step in that experience by adding leadership in action elective to our course offerings that will allow our 6th through 8th grade students, every single one of our students, to go through this class and be able to experience hands-on what being a citizen means and exposed to real life engaging opportunities so they can apply that learning to capstone projects. I would like to invite Kimberly Preston, who is our social studies specialist, to talk a little bit about those different capstone experiences, and then tell us also how this elective will then also connect to other experiences that our middle schoolers have in front of them in order to engage in civics and be able to expand upon those students that are really interested in engaging with the society, with different experiences in their middle school experience, being able to connect that. So with that, Kimberly Preston.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura. This particular slide is an example of the second half of the course. The first half of the course, Leadership 101, is really teaching them about themselves and where they see themselves as potential leaders in the world. And then it kind of expands out to seeing themselves in, well, how do I lead in my city or state or country? And then the second part, this Leadership 102 of the elective, is really a capstone project, actually two of them. The first, I gave two examples up here of what it could look like. The first part of that course could be they're doing a project on themselves or peers, and I use bullying as an example, where they run through the design thinking process to figure out what is a possible solution to a real world problem, and then they actually have to take steps to enact it. And the second part of the Leadership 102 would be the second capstone project, and that is something larger where they take a real world issue or problem that they see in the city, state, or the country, and in this case, we use pollution in a local park, and they have to actually take it through the entire design thinking process as well until they get to the implementation of an actual solution to the problem and taking action. So, as Dr. Mesa Lema said, the first is the foundational piece that's required by law, the K-8 social studies courses, which have civics embedded in it. Then we created this elective course that all middle school students would have the opportunity to take. But we also wanted you to know there were 4 other pieces to the civics program that we've envisioned and have actually began implementing, that students would have even more opportunities to see themselves as change agents in the world, which is what we want from all of our kids, to be able to take what they've learned from K-8 and enact it in other ways. So the first was MSAN, which is the Multicultural Student Achievement Network, which right now is in, I believe, Dr. Ventura, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first year. And those students there are learning how to make change in public school settings. And they are learning from this organization through this collaborative initiative piece of their program on how do you make change for equity within a public education setting. The second is the student council experience, which is available to all campuses, but we've kind of rethought it and redesigned it for equity purposes to make sure they're all receiving an equal opportunity at running for a political office, being a voice for their campuses, and then enacting those changes that their student bodies or constituents ask for. And then we have another, Dr. Benhur, we have the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, or SAC, which is another opportunity for middle school students to actively engage in their district, to identify a particular problem and see it all the way through to an action step where they can see change happening in real time. And this year it's been pretty exciting as they work through the nutrition issue. And the last piece, which dear to my heart, the Washington, D.C. trip, where our middle school students, predominantly the 8th graders, get to go and see civics and government in action and begin to envision themselves as possible senators or judges or the President of the United States. Thank you.
So with that, any questions about the course offering to expand our civics offering?
Thank you. Is there any question from the board?
Madam President,
Mr. Gilwell?
Ms. Preston, on the Washington DC trip, have you explored the possibility of students becoming pages or interns with some of our elected officials at the pathway? Because I know it's only eighth grade, but once they get the bug and they go into high school, that's another opportunity for them to get exposed. And I know that's a really good opportunities, and our Arizona representatives, are very open to that. And so if there is anything at all that I can do to help you with that, I'm happy to do that. Again, it's just another opportunity for our students to be able to get that exposure and literally live there in DC and actually see how things are done, in our nation's capital.
Thank you.
I love that idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question from the board? Thank you. Next item is approval for a contract agreement with Time Clocks Plus. Ms. Ling Lang, Chief Financial Officer. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Ling Lang?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Ventura, and Isaac Community. This evening, we're requesting Governing Board approval to contract with Time Clocks Plus, who is a nationwide company that provides time clock software that mostly with K-12 districts, and it also is a substitute management program. We're requesting this change for a few reasons. Number one, it puts more accountability and responsibility on the employee themselves. They have to approve their own time prior to it going to the supervisor to be approved. So it forces them to review their time clock each pay period. And second of all, they have a contract with our current payroll system with it's called ERP Pro, School ERP Pro, otherwise known as Visions. They have a contract, and this their software integrates seamlessly with Vision, so it automatically will pull it in. Currently, we're having to import and export in order to get it into the payroll system. And finally, one of the most, to me, the cherry on top of why we were requesting this this change is it would be approximately a $13,000 savings each year, and so over $65,000 over the life of the contract for the next. So over the next 5 years, it's a very friendly, user-friendly program. The implementation would occur over in 5 phases. They have it very well spelled out. They have been very, very helpful in with this, and been very specific in how they go through it. As far as training, as soon as we get to the 4th phase, they'll begin training. They'll train all of our employees along with all of the supervisors. And it allows us also to continue to use the time clocks that we use now. We don't have to purchase new hardware in order to use the software. And if it is approved this evening, we'll begin the transition process, and it will go into effect on July 1 of 24 for next year. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there any question from the board?
Madam President,
Ms. Jimenez?
I do have a question, actually a couple of questions. So you mentioned about accountability. How are you making sure, because are we having also the employee sign something, which I think it's a good idea, because I know things happen, but if an employee is late or tells somebody, hey, can you punch in for me? That's not acceptable.
Correct.
So we need to make sure that I work at Costco, and we have this really good system, and the way it works with us is that you have your own badge, and then you scan your own badge, and it gives you like a 3-minute window, to clock in and also to clock out, and then also for lunch.
Correct.
So if something happens that the time clock doesn't work, then you go to the exception log, and that's where you write Matt badge didn't go through or anything didn't go through, and that's how. And then we verify, the payroll also verifies that's also accurate, but no one's allowed to use nobody else's badges. So if you're late, you're late. So my thing is, are we going to do something, because I'm all about accountability, doing something that when we get this system, employees are going to sign that they're not allowed to give that badge or somebody else to clock in.
Yes, Mrs. Jimenez, I believe we currently have it in place where they have to sign a time clock agreement that states that. And that if they are late or they need to adjust their time, there is a time clock exception form that needs to be signed both by the employee and submitted to and signed by the supervisor, kept on file at the school for auditing purposes. If an employee has more than 3 late times, then they bring it to my attention. And I have to meet with the employee and sign off on it at that point in time. But yes, I believe we do have, or should have, a time clock agreement. And I think they have one with their software that they would sign the first time that they log in.
Um, I'm sorry. And the other question, so how are we holding people accountable when they're being late multiple times?
Madam President,
Dr. Ventura.
our intent is once this is approved, we're going to move forward and have like a planning for professional development so everyone knows how to use the new time clock machine. And we also want to have a presentation to the board because we want to go back and reevaluate the time clock handbook that we have and make sure that everyone understands and explain to the board too that we're doing everything that you're asking. But I don't want to, we're going off a little bit of the topic. I just
Okay.
wanted to share that with you. But that's our intent, is to bring that to you in another meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question from the board?
So, Madam President, so
Mr.
Dr.
Gil-
Ventura, I understand that we have a time clock agreement, but do we have a policy in place that, our staff understands and what's embedded in our handbooks?
Yes, we do. But it's become evident that we need to spend more time reviewing that policy and making sure that everyone understands it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question from the board? Call for the vote. Motion carries. Next item is approval administrator staff promotion, Mr. Jose Arenas, Chief Human Resource Officer. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Arenas?
Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Ventura, community. As you have collectively advocated, building our Isaac School District pipeline and leadership capacity is imperative. Tonight, we bring forward to you a recommendation to approve Dr. Dennis Lawton for the position of Director of Assessment and Accountability. As you are aware, this position is outlined in the recently board-approved 2024 Isaac reorg. Dr. Lawton has served the Isaac School District in the role of Student Achievement Strategist these past 10 years. Prior to Dr. Lawton joining the district, he has served as a 7th and 8th grade math teacher and as a district math coach in the Phoenix Elementary School District. Dr. Lawton has dedicated his years of educational stewardship in the area of mathematics. Point being, his graduate work and doctoral studies were aligned to mathematics focus. He has dedicated time, energy, and leadership by facilitating professional development initiatives and professionally viewed as, quote unquote, the data guru of the district. We present to you Dr. Dennis Lawton.
Thank you. Is there any question from the board? Call for the,
Madam President, I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Ms. Jimenez?
Well, I just want to kind of say something. When I saw Dennis Lawton's name on here, I just want to say that in my years that I've been here, I have seen you grown. I mean, you were my kid's teacher. They're both grown, so I'm just very happy that you're still continuing to stay here and make a difference in our kids' lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Call for the vote. Motion carries. Mr. Layton.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura, and Isaac community. I just want to thank the board members, Dr. Ventura and Dr. Mesalema, for your faith in me. And I'm humbled and honored to serve the Isaac community and students in my new role. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the whole consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Call for the vote. Motion carries. Next item is called to the public.
Madam President, at this time, there is no request to address the governing board.
Thank you. Next item is information enrollments at 4,936. Calendar is April 16, Parent Advisory Council meeting 5 p.m. at Isaac School District located at 3348 West McDowell Road, Phoenix, Arizona. April 20th, third annual Isaac School District Solo Festival at Isaac Middle School located at 3402 West McDowell Road. April 23rd, National School Bus Driver Day. April 24th, National Administrator Professional Day. May 1st, National School Principal Day. Next item is regular governing board the next board meeting will be at 5 p.m. on Thursday, May 2nd at Isaac Middle School located at 3402 West McDowell Road. And if there's no objection, meeting adjourned. Thank you.